Jamie from Inky and Scrappy. I am going to demo how to do a slider surprise A2 size without a die cut. So this is a pop out for my upcoming card class if you want to follow along with that one but you don't have the MFT's slider surprise. I think Trinity Stamps has a slimline one that I actually own. I don't know what else is out there for A2 size. So I'm going to start by cutting my panel down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. We want a 1/4 inch leeway all the way around the outside, so it'll be an 1/8 inch on each side. So we're going to do that. I'm not worried about the background pattern on this one because you're not going to see it. I wanted that beautiful snowflake pattern. It's not the same as my card class kits, but it's glorious just the same. I just had, we just talked about this in one of my last videos, like having something and then not being able to find it when you're looking for it. I just had the paper cutter. Not that paper cutter, the other paper cutter. Oh, I set it back where it belonged. Because, you know. So for this one, the easiest way to do this one is going to be with the slide, the trim style one. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do it on the front or the back on this one because I hate erasing stuff. It's what I do. So let's find my ruler here. Boop. So, well, let's take that back out. I don't need that quite yet. So we want to take this and do some tick marks on it. It doesn't really matter where your top or your bottom is going to be, but we're going to do, obviously I'm off just a teeny tiny bit here. So 1, 2, so 1/2 inch, 3/4, and we're going to go in between that at 5/8 there, and then on the other side we're going to go 1/2 there, or 5/8, is that what it is? 5/8. And then on the actual card front panel, it was, so the one I have has a 5/8 inch border all the way around the outside element, if that helps. I don't know. So I'm actually just gonna tuck that at, well, that's not gonna work. So 5/8 is there. I'm just gonna do that one right there. And let's do 5/8 from this side as well, because I'm gonna need to cut down to that line. So I'm going to line those up. And this ruler's nice because it's got the guides on it, so you can kind of see where you're at. And I'm just going to make a super light line there because I'm going to have to erase that one. And then on this side as well, let's go into that 1/8, 1/2, 1/8, 1/4, 1/2. Maybe I ended up doing 3. I don't know. That's a 1/2. Well, that's my full inch, so no, I'm right. Okay. Ah, I wiggled. Let's try that again. Okay. So we have our little tick marks on there. I hope they're semi-straight. I'm telling you, I'm way better at eyeballing things than anything else. So on here, this would be 1/4, 1/2. That should technically be 5/8 right there. Technically. And so we're going to pop this in. Can you see that on screen? So we're going to not push it down until we line that up with that first. And then we're going to go slow all the way down until our little arrow reaches our other line. And then we have a a slice in the middle, and we're gonna do the same thing over on this side, making sure to line it up. I really am horrible at making sure my measurements are proper. You know how they say, measure twice, cut once? Well, I measure 3 times, cut once, and have to redo it. It's kind of how it goes around here. And so this one is going to come down to this line here. And I'm going to stop at that line again. So now we have, essentially, we could put a piece of candy all the way through there, right? Like, I mean, that looks like Hershey bar size, like the regular size. Okay. I'm not always this full of malarkey. I'm always this full of malarkey. I don't want the mono eraser because that's gonna buff off my lines here. So I am going to make sure to get my lines off on the sides or my little tick marks. I'm not totally worried about my top lines at this point yet. I mean, I'm going to erase them lightly because once I have them scored there and or cut, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And truthfully, you're probably better not putting the lines on if you can follow the measurements on your ruler, or I mean on your cutter. I need to do my bottom cut. And so let's go. Right there is that 5/8 line. And then we're gonna right here and then slow and steady all the way to that other cut line. And it's not quite there, but that's what they make little scissors for. So we're just gonna, I could put it back in the paper trimmer and finish that one out, but it's such a small little cut. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I'm gonna put this away. If you have the one that also does scoring, you could use that for your scoring. I do not have that one, or if I did have that one, I have no clue where it's currently located. So now I'm gonna take my panel here, and it's not probably gonna line up great with this, but we'll see. It might. Yeah, it might, right? That line looks really crooked. Shh. It's all good. So from here, this is our 5/8 line, and you could totally score it on your scoreboard first before you cut it if that's easier for you. So here is our, and then we want to go about 1/2 of an inch. So this would be 1/4 of an inch, and this is going to be 1/2 of an inch. So I want to not do the other part, I just want to do that cutout piece. So we're going to score that one there. And then from the other side, we are going to find the top of that one there. So it should be at, or my head is going to get over here because yes. Okay, so it is where it's supposed to be. We're going to score that one from cut mark to cut mark there. And this goes a lot faster if you do a bunch of them, and you know, you might be a little, and then I'm going to fold this one up. This one is actually going to get folded this way as well. And then we just need to do that middle one in there. So let's see what we have for distance. It's about 3.5 in between there. So what did I say? 1 3/4 kind of, sort of. But I gotta add. Oh yeah. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna math. Yeah. So 1 3/4 plus 5/8 is. I need a pencil and a piece of paper. My head hurts too much today to do math in my head. Okay, so we have 5/8 from the top and the bottom. Well, this one's going to be more. So we have 5/8 from the top side of this one, right? And then we're going to add, what did we say that measurement was here? Yep, you get all the bloopers too today, because that's how we're gonna roll. So this one is about 3.5. It's not quite 3.5. So I'm gonna have to cheat that one a little bit. It's like a 1/16 of an inch off because my measurements weren't very great when I did my cutting. But so 5/8. So another. So that would be 4 1/8. And if you're wondering how I did my math, 4/8 is a half. So I'm just gonna add that half to that, and I still have 1/8 left. So it's 4 1/8. And so to divide that in 2 from this end is going to be, so if we cut it from this side, yeah, see, 4 1/8, that's pretty close there. 4 1/8 divided by 2 equals, oh, but I wanna, yeah. So it's 3.5. So I should really just add 5/8 to whatever my half is, right? So this is gonna be 1 3/4 plus 5/8. I'm telling you, math is hard today. So I should be at 2. I'm trying to figure out my score line here. 2, and so this one would add into that one. You'd take 2, so you'd still have 3/8 left, and that would be 2. So 2 3/8. Let's see if that works. Here is my 2 line, and then 2/8, 3/8. That doesn't look great. 2.5 looks better. It's probably not. It's supposed to be here, but let's wish and hope for the best. And if I screw it up, well, you didn't see anything here, folks. Nah, yeah, it was, you see, my measurements were right. My eyeballs were not. And so there is that slider surprise. And yeah, it's probably a 1/16 of an inch off because my cutting was a 1/16 of an inch off, but most people aren't going to open it all the way, so it'll still work just fine. And then for this piece, this one is 3 1/4 inches by 4, and this one is kind of, well, I would say it's probably 4 5/8. Why is it all in 8s? Blech. All right, so 4 5/8, and then I would just round the corners for your top. If you want it to look finished, you don't have to do that, but you could definitely do a corner rounder. You could even do a decorative corner rounder. Corner rounder. I can't talk today either. And then for our little notch. So if we take this back here, and we know that this is 4 inches wide, and we do a mark on the 2 here. So I'm just going to put a little mark on the 2. So if you can see that, I don't know. So I put a little mark on the 2 there. That's where I want the middle of my circle to be. Well, you see this side I have it on half, but I'm going to kind of just eyeball that middle of the circle there. I would say right about there. It's close. So all in all, this is the one that was cut with the die cut. This is the one I did by myself. Okay, instruction-wise it took me, I don't want to look. Instruction-wise it took me about 14 minutes to do it. That was for the first one and figuring out the measurements. I will list the measurements below the video on this one, so you don't have to remember them or write them down while you're watching. So, but that should work. Ooh. Perfect. All right. Bye.